All right, welcome everyone. This is your go-to guide for the SHAMS Coral Data Entry System. We've put this explainer together specifically for you, our expert field staff, to help you master the tool that turns all your hard work in the water into absolutely critical conservation data. So, let's jump right in.
So here's what we're going to cover. We've got 5 key sections. We'll start with getting the app set up, then we'll break down the system's logic, walk through the actual data entry, talk about quality control, and, super important, we'll finish up by looking at how to avoid some common mistakes. This is your roadmap to getting comfortable with the system.
Okay, first things first, setup and sync. You've got to get the application installed and properly synced up. This is absolutely foundational. You need to do this before you head into the field or start entering any data to make sure everything runs smoothly from the get-go.
Getting set up is pretty straightforward. You just install Power Apps, log in with your normal SHAMS account, and open the app. But, and I can't stress this enough, pay very close attention to that last step. Syncing before every single session is non-negotiable. That little globe icon is your best friend. It guarantees you're working with the latest version and all the most current data.
Now let's talk about how all your data is actually structured. To really get comfortable with this system, you've got to understand its core logic. Everything is organized in a really clear hierarchy. Once this clicks, the whole process is going to feel so much more intuitive.
As you can see, it all flows in a logical chain. You start at the top, the highest level, by defining the field trip. Then, nested inside that, you create each site visit. And finally, within each of those visits, you log your individual surveys. Your raw numbers, the data you actually collect, that's the final piece of the puzzle, and it gets attached right to a specific survey.
So think of the field trip as the main digital folder for your entire expedition. It holds all the big picture info, right? The project it's for, who's on the team, the dates, the region. Every single piece of data you enter from that trip will get filed neatly under the correct field trip.
A site visit, on the other hand, captures a specific snapshot in time. It's one team at one of our permanent sites on one particular day. This is the level where you log all those crucial environmental conditions, things like sea state, current, and visibility, that apply to all the different surveys you do during that specific visit. And that brings us down to the most granular level of organization before you get to your raw numbers, the survey. A survey is the specific activity itself, like your fish transect or your coral condition assessment. It's always linked to a specific method and an observer. And this is the record where you'll finally attach your data sheets.
Okay, now for the practical part. Getting all that incredible data you worked so hard to collect on the reef into the system. There is one core principle I really need you to remember for pretty much every data form, and it all comes down to one very, very important button. So, when you first open up a data entry form for a transect, you are going to see, well, absolutely nothing, just a blank screen. Don't panic. Your first thought might be, oh, it's broken. It's not. This is completely intentional. The system is just waiting for your command. And here is that command. This is the crucial point. You must click the purple Generate button. Hitting that button tells the system to create the full, blank data entry form for that specific transect. Doing this is essential because it makes sure every single species or category is accounted for. And that's critical for our analysis because a zero count is data. It's just as important as a positive count.
This little table lays out the workflow perfectly. Before you click, the screen is blank. You hit Generate and bam, the full form appears. Your only job from there is to fill in your positive counts for what you saw. Then, when you save, the system automatically fills in all the other fields with a 0, guaranteeing we get a complete and accurate data set every single time.
So you've entered your data. Job done, right? Not quite. Getting the numbers into the system is just the first part of the process. Making sure that data is high quality and has integrity is just as important. The good news is the system has tools built right in to help you. This is where you become the data's first line of defense. This 4-step process is your data quality mantra. First, you manually save your entries. Then, right after, you hit the Validate button to let the system check for obvious errors. Later, you or your data lead will use the quality control tools for a much deeper check. And that final step, the sign-off, that locks the data and confirms it's ready for the scientists to analyze.
All right, let's wrap this up with what are probably the most important slides in this whole guide: how to avoid the common pitfalls. These are the issues that can cause some real headaches, and paying close attention right now will save you and the whole team a ton of trouble down the line.
This is it.
This is by far the #1 issue people run into. If your data seems to have vanished into thin air, it's almost certainly because it was entered under the wrong item in that hierarchy we talked about. So always double-check and then triple-check that you've selected the correct field trip, site visit, and survey before you start typing.
Please remember this. The system does not auto-save your work. It's not like a Google Doc. It trusts you to be in control. You have to tell it when to save. Make hitting that green save button a constant, reflexive habit. Get done with a form, hit save. You get distracted for a minute, hit save. Just keep hitting save. It'll prevent any chance of losing your work.
And this is the most critical warning of all. There is no undo button. There is no trash can to go recover something from. When you delete something in this system, it is gone forever. So please, be absolutely 100% certain before you click that delete icon, because that action is permanent and it is irreversible.
Look, by following this workflow, you're not just plugging numbers into a database. You are carefully safeguarding the vital information that tells the story of our reefs. You're ensuring the integrity of the science that drives our entire conservation mission forward. So let's get out there and let's get it right.